What up, IG? What up, YouTube? What up, Wild Parks? Welcome to the chat. I'm dusting my little screen off because it looks dirty. What up, Chev? Y'all are my first contestants. What up, ADE the Vegan? Twitch, YouTube, what's good? All right. We're going to jump right into it. What up, Miss Faye? To you. Let's jump right into it. I'm sure, as you all know, the news of Jimmy Fallon being indefinitely, his show indefinitely canceled. Let me pull it up to make sure that I'm saying the right stuff. But today's topic is freedom of speech dead? Is freedom of speech dead? And if you're not familiar with the situation, I do have the video on why he was canceled. But again, hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me make sure I'm on the right email. Hey, Mama, just in time. Question is today, is freedom of speech dead? Is freedom of speech dead? And it comes at the height of Jimmy Fallon and his show basically being canceled. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up this clip. Because if you are not familiar with the situation, I'm going to play the clip that allegedly got him or his show canceled. Crazy thing. So, yes, the question today is freedom of speech basically dead in this country? Are we no longer, allowed to say our piece? Is freedom of speech dead? Hold on, y'all. I'm really trying to find these clips. And I don't know why I can't find them. See? This is why you should be prepared. That is definitely not it. But yes, let's go here. I might have to just pull it up from online. I said Jimmy Fallon. I'm sorry, y'all. Jimmy Kimmel. Excuse me. Let me get that right. Jimmy Kimmel was fired, where his show was indefinitely suspended. But yes, it is definitely a problem now. When they start suspending one of their own, yeah, you right, Mama. Houston, we have a problem, a big problem. Hold on, y'all. I'm really trying to find. Okay, I have one of the clips. I think this plays the video though. So, Don Lemon has chimed in. I'll play his clip. What's that comedian's name? What is her name? Wanda Sykes has chimed in. Hold on, I'm trying to get to the clip. All right, so comments made by Jimmy Kimmel that caused ABC to take his show off the air indefinitely. So this is Dagger goes back to the beginning. So hold on, y'all. I gotta turn my mute on so you guys can hear what is going on, and then I read some of these comments that we got. Wait a minute now. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go.
Flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once. And in between the finger pointing.
So that was Jimmy Kimmel. And that was the clip that got him basically pretty much canceled. So today's question is freedom of speech pretty much dead? Are we no longer allowed to say the things that we should be protected by? The First Amendment. And then I'm going to play Don Lemon because he had some things to say. Trump hates him, so he was just waiting for an opportunity. Absolutely. He got some more folks on his hit list too. He ain't just stopping with Jimmy Kimmel. He got some more folks on this hit list. So it's crazy that it seems like our freedom of speech is being now jeopardized. You can no longer get on here and say how you feel. And if you do, you may lose your job. I think I talked to you guys about a couple people. If not, I probably talked to Mama about, there was a guy, he worked for the government. He said he had been working for the government for a long time. And then he did a post about what was going on, and then ended up getting fired. I'm seeing teachers all over. I think Texas did. I forgot how many teachers it was, but they fired a bunch of teachers. It was a girl, I think too, a black woman. Hey, Pat, from the Washington Post, who was also fired because of some comments she made in reference to the assassination of the man. So, Pat, we're talking about today. That's why you see, Chev, I have to break it down very, very, very gently, because I don't want to offend anybody. But is freedom of speech dead? That is the question today. Is freedom of speech dead? With Jimmy Kimmel show being indefinitely canceled, suspended, over some things. And I played the clip. I'll play it again. I'm looking for the direct clip because I sent it to myself last night because I knew we were going to talk about this. But, I didn't hear anything in the clip. Maybe somebody, like I said, I'm going to play this clip again. Maybe I ain't got my listening ears on. Cause, hey girl. Hey Lachey. Hey, Slay Queen. We're talking about freedom of speech. Is it dead? Is freedom of speech dead? And we're talking about it because of Jimmy Kimmel. His show was basically canceled. Pretty much. I'm going to go back and play this clip because we got some new folks on here. So take a listen.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old...
Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. So, because if I go back to the beginning, it's going to play all these people. That is Wanda Sykes. We'll go back to that.
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the 4th stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once. And in between the finger pointing...
So that was the skit from Jimmy Kimmel. If you didn't hear it or see it already. Hold on, let me wipe, because I feel like I'm dirty right now. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, thank you, because we was coming in blurry and hot. All right, so that was the clip, okay, that caused ABC to take his show off the air indefinitely. So the question today is freedom of speech dead with this? Is freedom of speech dead? Whew. It seems like it. I'm just saying, it seems like you no longer, gone are the days you can get on here and, say what you want. And, Jimmy Kimmel is not the only person that I have heard of, hey, EJ, that has been fired. Like I said, I can't remember the sister's name, but I think she worked for the Washington Post. She also, too, was fired because of some remarks that she made. Mama said, fired for what? He was mocking Trump. Nothing was said about the murder. Big Rob said, how can you make fun of a clown? F dumb Donald. I mean, like Mama said, I mean, Trump seems like he had it in for him. He has a hit list, and there's more people on this hit list. He ain't gonna stop at Jimmy. Jimmy is not gonna stop. But I want you to hear from Don Lemon, in reference to this, and then I'll read some of the folks who have actually spoken out in defense of Jimmy Kimmel. Here's Don.
Or a shiver up every American spine, regardless if they're a Democrat or a Republican. This is some scary shit. We don't want people ratting out people who are saying things that they don't agree with, or saying things that they deem to be negative about the sad and tragic death of Charlie Kirk. That's like, to me, it reminds me of back in the day when you had to like rat people out because you believe that they belong to a certain political party.
Okay, that was a little bit of all.
Hey, everybody.
This is Wanda.
So I'm in a full face of makeup because I was supposed to go over and have a chat with my friend Jimmy Kimmel on his show. But as you have heard by now, the Jimmy Kimmel show has been pulled indefinitely, abruptly, because of complaints from the Trump administration. So let's see. He didn't end the Ukraine war or solve Gaza within his first week, but he did end freedom of speech within his first year. Hey, for those of you who pray, now's the time to do it. Love you, Jimmy.
All right, so that was Wanda Sykes. Lunel even said something. This is love. For anybody who doesn't know, I stand and ride with my First Amendment rights, and Jimmy as well. We all have the right to free speech. Jimmy has given me the opportunity to express myself for the last 5 years at Kimmy's Comedy Club in Las Vegas without fear. This is all sad, egotistical, and ridiculous. Jimmy, I have your back. I'm just a regular black woman in America, but I know my rights. That was from Lunel. Even Jasmine Crockett. I'm not going to read all of these because some of these are very long. Kimmel hurts Mega's feelings by holding a mirror up. And so the First Amendment is out the window and his show is pulled. Who is going to tell them that this is the definition of being a snowflake, as well as supporting anti-democratic ideals? Not patriotic at all. But that was brief what she said. That's Jasmine Crockett. Even Plies chimed in and said, they made Jimmy Kimmel words more offensive than the guy who went around being controversial. This is the same thing they did to Colin. They made his protest about what they wanted it to be about. Absolutely. They mastered being the victim and villainizing everyone else. You bet. Preach. And, am I saying, is it Lachey? Am I saying that right? Lachey? Karen, and I'm going to say that name wrong. Karen Ataya, I probably said that. No, I'm a name jacker upper, but thank you. So that was the Washington Post black lady that got fired for her comments. Big Rob said, Steph Colbert show was stopped too, right? Yes, I think Mama said that. Yep, Colbert show canceled. These executives are puppets. Did y'all see that, Barack Obama, spoke out too? Mr. Awesome said those lawsuits are about to be packed. We gonna see if they can even sue. You know how that go. DC Big Rob said the dude was not a dignitary or head of state or senator or member of Congress. So why were flags flown at half staff? This clown seriously wants to be a dictator. Lachey said, yes, you got it right, Girly, and you said her name right as well. Okay, cool. But yes, the lady from the Washington Post, and then there was another black guy. He worked for the government. He said he had been working for the government for a very long time, and then he got a separation notice for something that he had posted. Even Ben Stiller said this isn't right about Jimmy Kimmel.
And in between the finger pointing, there was
that's Jimmy Kimmel
grieving.
again. I'll play the clip again though in a second. we'll get back to that. But is our freedom of speech, is it over? Is our freedom of speech over? I mean, if they can do this, what they do, is our freedom of speech over? Like, I'm saying, I say like what Don Lemon said. It seems like it. We are in some scary times. The fact that, and again, not trying to be disrespectful, the fact that I feel like because we were not sympathetic or empathetic to a situation, or because folks are not empathetic or sympathetic to a situation, it's a problem. And, again, it's a meme going around too. How many people were fired for mocking George Floyd? I would love to know that. If anybody knows that information. How many people were fired for mocking George Floyd? I'm just saying. What up, Yards? What up, Rashad? Chev said, it's over with our new presidency. Watch your back, Daddy. Yeah. Rashad, we're talking about, is our freedom of speech over? Is our freedom of speech over? Are we no longer, is it a thing of the past? With the firing, I don't even want to say firing, but with Jimmy Kimmel's show, ABC taking the show off indefinitely. I guess you could say it's been at jeopardy. But is it over? She said, yes, it is. It's a scary thing. Okay, there you are, Rashad. I'm sure you've seen the news. It's been all over the news. Jimmy Kimmel, ABC taking his show off the air indefinitely. So the question today is our freedom of speech over? And then before you say anything, have you heard the clip?
What clip?
Of Jimmy Kimmel and what he said that made them take his show off the air.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I mean, but I don't need to. I mean, I know what Jimmy does, and I mean, he makes jokes just like every other late night TV show host. So
okay. So you ready to get into it then? Well, let me play it for the people. What up, Joey Cakes? You know me. Let me play it for the folks that did not hear the clip. Because some folks might be, I get it, not in your phones because we got bigger things, fish to fry. But this is Jimmy Kimmel.
Was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once. And in between
okay. Lachey said, I don't know how I clicked off. Seems like it is, that's crazy. You get critiqued for your thoughts and concerns. Him getting criticism over the dumb ish this man is saying is unscrupulous. I can't even pronounce the word.
Unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous. Thank you for that big word. I just learned a new word today. Okay, what up, 1985? We are talking about, is your freedom of speech in jeopardy? Is your freedom of speech in jeopardy after ABC decided to take Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely? All right, Rashad, what are your thoughts and prayers on this?
It's nothing different than I haven't already said. We have a propensity to be surprised by things that we already know to be true. And our anger is reserved for our small circles. For everyone that's upset, I ask the same question. How many people have called into the television station in support of Jimmy? That's how you get them back on the air. That's how you fight. But we don't fight. We let the world happen to us and we adjust. We don't tell the world how to handle us.
I know you got some people speaking out for Jimmy.
No, I'm not talking about some people. I'm talking about everyone that's upset, everyone that's angry, who has made a phone call. That is how we fight. We know that you cannot fight on social media airways and the barbershops and all of that. That's not where the fighting occurs. That's where the strategy gets created. But the issue is that, yes, we have lost our freedom of speech. And the reason that we've lost it is because we've willingly given it away. We gave it away.
How do you feel
Everything that
like we
happened.
willingly gave it away, though?
Say it again.
How do you feel like we willingly gave it away?
If a bully comes up to you at school and slaps you on Monday and slaps you again on Tuesday and slaps you again on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and you keep going and telling a teacher that does not do anything, then are you willingly allowing him to abuse you? Yes. Because he keeps doing the exact same thing. And you are not making any additional moves. So unfortunately, we as a society, and I told you this a while back that it was going to happen because we're not going to do anything. We have to be angry enough to do something. We are waiting for someone to save us, and that is not going to happen. I told you, he and his people are going to continue to go further and further and further until we do something. And that's just the bottom line.
Okay. Joey Cake said they have been after him for some time. They were waiting on a reason to take him off the air. Yeah, he was after, and he got some more people on the hit list too. Joey Cake said, with this administration, the networks can't even save themselves. Rashad's like, I said what I said. I think it's an unfortunate thing, but yes, you have been saying it for some time, and here we are. And I think somebody on here, because I played Don Lemon talking about the situation. And I'll play him again. Play him very briefly because he's long-winded. But it was a bunch of folks that came in Jimmy's defense. And then I have another question too, but we'll get to that in a second. So this is Don.
Going through the internet looking for the clips to see what they're mad or upset about, and I can't find it. These are I can't find it. The one that they have on there, I don't see where that's even controversial. The guy's a comedian. This is the same party, the same group of people who complained about everything is too woke. Comedians can't say anything anymore. They're killing comedy. The folks who are complaining about killing comedy are killing comedy. The folks who are complaining about moment for America. This should send a chill or a shiver up every American's spine, regardless if they're a Democrat or a Republican. This is some scary shit. We don't want people ratting out people who are saying things that they don't agree with, or saying things that they deem to be negative about the sad and tragic death of Charlie Kirk. That's like, to me, it reminds me of back in the day when you had to like rat people out because you believe that they belong to a certain political party. I thought America was beyond that. I guess we're going back to that time now.
Clearly not. So this is
Hey everybody. So I'm in a full face of makeup because I was supposed to go over and have a chat with my friend Jimmy Kimmel on his show. But as you have heard by now, the Jimmy Kimmel show has been pulled indefinitely, abruptly, because of complaints from the Trump administration. So let's see. He didn't end the Ukraine war or solve Gaza within his first week, but he did end freedom of speech within his first year. Hey, for those of you who pray, now's the time to do it. Love you, Jimmy.
So, did you, Rashad, see that former President Barack Obama spoke out too against this? He did. I gotta find his speech. 1985 said, "What did Jimmy Kimmel say about Kirk?" Okay, let me play you the clip that got his show. Basically.
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once. And in between
okay, so that's the clip. Rashad, I know, but did you hear anything in that clip?
Here's the deal. The fact that there was nothing in the clip that should be used to be able to actually get him kicked off is what should really scare everybody. He didn't say anything negative. He made a joke, which is what talk shows do. He just said a joke about Donald Trump. And in 2025, if you're going to do that, you have to understand that if he has access to resources, he's going to try to cut you off. Did
you see the sister that got arrested? I mean, not arrested. Did you see the sister that got fired from the Washington Post?
That I did not.
Yes. She got fired from the Washington Post over some things that she said about the guy that was assassinated.
Yep. And, the little girl got expelled from school and...
Yes, she got arrested. You saw that, right?
No, she didn't get arrested. She just got expelled.
There was a girl that got arrested, too.
No, that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I have to send you that clip. She was on a college campus, and they were doing, I think, a rally or a visual or something like that. And I don't want to repeat the words because, again, I don't want to offend anybody. But she made some what some people would say, derogatory statements, right, in reference to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So they ended up calling the police, and they charged her with all types of things. Yeah, she was arrested, mugshot and everything.
No, so that's something different. I wasn't aware of that. This was just a regular student at a school that said something on social media, and they kicked her out of school.
Yeah, I mean, my question is, though, Rashad, how many people got fired for mocking George Floyd?
I mean, you don't have to ask that question. You already know the answer. We all know the answer. And we can't, the issue is that we are too busy trying to show them how they are not fair when they already know. They just don't care. That's what happens when you have the power. When Democrats have the power, we don't use it for anything. No, let me rephrase that. When Democrats have the power, they use all of their power to push that LGBTQ agenda.
Oh,
that's what all of their power goes towards. And that's why they have separated people within the party, is because they don't focus on the elements of true equality that we need, that counteract what the opposite side is doing. And so we got these Democrats in here that are just being moved by money. And everyone thought that, both sides were moved by money, but, the right side, they're moved by power. Democrats we didn't care about power. We were just trying to get money. The Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers and not Chuck Schumer. What was the other guy? Cory Booker's and all of them that have taken all of that money from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And so they refuse to say anything negative about Israel, even though they have completely destroyed Gaza. And nobody's, none of us are worried about it because it's not over here. But we have to understand that we are aligned with the same type of party that's allowing for Israel to just go ham on people that they have been oppressing.
Mm.
And so we're all okay because we're in our comfortable areas. But I'm going to put something on your mind. They're going to start tearing down these buildings. There will be damage on U.S. soil.
Mm.
And then it will be too late for us to start trying to care. But we don't care because it's not affecting us. And
You
that is...
start tearing down the buildings. Why?
Oh, there's going to be attacks.
Okay.
There are going to be attacks.
From within here, our own people.
So here's the thing. There is no within here because we have, sleeper cells everywhere. And so when everyone, outside determines that, all right, it's time to go, they're just going to press the button. And then, we're going to be crying and how did this happen? And, we didn't see it come in and all of this other stuff. But that's because we're just so stuck in our American arrogance.
Mm.
And yeah, I pray that it doesn't happen, but I'm a realist and I'm just looking at everything and I'm just like, how are we still just all we trying to do is just get money. That's all we're doing. I just got to worry about this check. I need this paper. I'm like, we are not focusing on the real danger out here.
You know what? FA brought that up too. You weren't on the live the other day, but he brought that up. He said, basically, Black people are comfortable with racism here. He said, because how many Black people do you know? He said, how many Black people for real do you think are really going to, if we did go into a civil war, how many Black people do you know are really going to fight? He said, especially the middle class working, he said, they're not going to want to fight. He said, Black people only care about racism when it affects them, when it's knocking at their door, on their doorstep. So
the larger picture is that's just not Black people. That's Americans, because that's how Trump got into office. Americans don't care about who gets oppressed as long as they benefit from it, or as long as it doesn't affect them. So that's not Black people. That's just the masses. And so, go ahead.
No, I was going to read some of these comments. Joey Cake said, this C. Kirk situation is being elevated in order to play on conservative emotions. Most people didn't even know who he was before last week. I didn't know who he was either before last week. I'm just being honest. Okay. Mama said they fired Don Lemon and Joy Reid going after Letitia James and the cook lady who worked Federal Reserve. Letitia James sued and won against him in New York. 1985 said, damn, that was it? Yikes. I thought he said some wild-ish. Is that what he got fired for? That's kind of crazy. Yes, that's what got his show canceled indefinitely. Mama said he tweeted they did a great thing with Jimmy Kimmel. 1985 said, America is a Christian country primarily, and the Dems push anti-God agendas. That's why they're losing their base. The good guys become the bad guys. Their supporters wasn't rocking with it no more.
So let's be honest. America's not a true Christian country. And I'm tired of people saying that because all of the people that are at the top screaming Christianity, all of them are conducting the biggest sins. And so they use Christianity as a way of controlling, but it's not truly Christian because in order for them to be truly Christians, they need to embrace Jesus. They don't embrace Jesus, they embrace God. They embrace God because God is vengeance. Jesus is forgiving. And so all of this, it's a Christian country and Dems and pushing non-Christian values. Wait a minute. If they had such an issue with that, every last award show, every last music award show that comes on television, when a new artist comes out in spikes with horns in his head and a tail and it's deep demonic imagery all over the place, that should really be what they were upset about. I don't want to hear Democrats push anti-God agendas because America pushes anti-God agendas. And if you want to talk through it, please feel free. We can discuss.
You see it all on the TV, all in the movies. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name who's running in New York, but Mama said he received death threats because he's running for mayor and
100%.
What up, Super Pad? We're talking about, is your freedom of speech now no longer, is freedom of speech a thing of the past? Is it a done deal? After Jimmy Kimmel's show was pulled from ABC indefinitely over, again, I heard the skit, still trying to figure out what, somebody point me in the right direction on what was said in that skit that was terrible. Joey Cake said, remember, every Republican does not stand with the president, but they're afraid to be looked at as traitors. 1985 said, America is a Christian country because of the population and voters. Drive outside of the progressive cities and into the rural areas. All you see is Jesus saves and chapels and churches everywhere.
But once again, like I said, that does not necessarily truly make you Christian just because you're holding up symbols. America is all about symbols. If you didn't know that before, look at this, is what's happening now. They are comparing this guy to Martin Luther King. He is a symbol. They don't truly embrace truth or religion. They don't embrace religion. They don't embrace religion. These people in these country towns that you're talking about that said, you know, God saves and all this other stuff, these are the ones that are having sex with their family members.
I'm sorry.
So once again, no, I'm not claiming that it's a Christian country. They just love the Christian symbolism.
And my thing, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I mean, Jesus loved everybody. I'm just saying. You can't say you love Jesus and then hate your fellow man. I'm just saying. And then I want somebody to please, if Martin Luther King disparaging comment, please send it to me. I would love to see it, because you can't compare somebody to somebody that was about peace and bringing human and mankind together. I'm just saying, again, no disrespect. Mama said they did the same things to slaves, use fake Christianity to keep them enslaved. Absolutely. And 1985 said, and people in progressive and urban cities have extremely lower voter turnouts. The last election is an example. All the swing states and blue states went red after 4 years. But you know what? You want to get into this, Rashad, on why that was?
So I have a conspiracy theorist out there. I mean, a conspiracy theory out there. But just because it's conspiracy doesn't mean it's not true. But I believe that there was a lot of voter tampering in this last election. I believe there was a lot of it. You have Elon that has alluded to it, and you have Trump that's alluded to it. And so you can't look at stats in 2025 because you have people out there that are willing to fudge the system.
Yeah, they had voting machines. So, I mean, 1985 said, and I'm not Republican at all, by the way. I'm just an observer. We get it. But this is a freedom of speech thing. This ain't about being Democratic, Republican, Independent, whatever it is. You go vote. This is about your freedom of speech. Is it over for it now? I mean, it definitely seems like it. Um, hey, Aunt. It definitely seems like it, and you definitely have to be very careful on what and how you say things on your social media, especially social medias, because they are being monitored for quality assurance. If you don't believe it, wherever you work is probably watching in your moves. So, and I already named a few people that have been fired. They said it was a bunch of teachers in Texas, Rashad, that got fired for some remarks.
Yep.
How do you remember the number? I think, was it like over 100 or was it less than 100?
I think it was over 100.
Okay, yeah. So
Yep.
85 says, was when Biden won?
Was there voter tampering? There
Mm-hmm.
there was every corner that was every rock that was overturned. You had Republicans looking and you had Democrats. Everyone advised that there was no severe effort for voter tampering that occurred when Biden won.
And Mr. Awesome said our democracy is also over.
100%.
You said 100%.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, once again, it's over because there's nothing that's going to occur that's going to make us angry enough to do anything about it.
But
So,
Rashad, first of all, we all got to get on the same page.
no, we don't. We're too busy waiting. We're too busy waiting. No, none of these things started with a huge mass effort. They started in small pockets, and they were slowly getting larger and more popular, and then they found each other. The issue is that everybody keeps using that excuse because they truly don't know what to do, and they're truly not going to do anything. So once again, like I told you, they're waiting for everybody. We have to wait until we all get together. How?
I'm
How do
not
we all get together?
all together, but we are so divided as a people. We can't even agree on something so simple as this situation going on with this man that was assassinated. You got some folks that feel the way that they feel, and then you got some other folks that feel the way they feel, and then you got some folks telling black folks how they should be feeling. So, I mean, I don't know.
100%. So the question is, do we just not do anything and wait until the inevitable happens? Because we know that's going to happen. And if we don't put anything into play, then all of us are going to suffer. And so, what does waiting get us?
But I'm not saying wait. We gotta. I got it. 1985 said. So you think Kamala actually won?
So, once again, I've been looking at some things, and there were certain areas where there were a lot of individuals that were questioning their votes and did they count and all of these other things. And so, of course, I'm not tapped in enough to just really, really, have anything undeniable that I can talk to. But I think there was some tampering that went on, and there may be a possibility that Kamala won. But, how sure am I about that? 10%, 20%, 50%, 90%? I don't know. I just know that we're dealing with two individuals that will do anything to win. And regardless if I have evidence or not, they have proven the fact that they are going to do everything. They literally came out and started paying for votes. That is an obvious an obvious rule breaking element, and no one went to jail for it. They were so audacious that they came out and yelled it from the rooftops. We are paying $1 million.
I remember seeing that.
That didn't upset anybody enough to pick up that battle and run with it. That's how I know. That's how I know that we just don't have the fight in us. If we will let them buy votes in front of us and then come back and still fuss at us like we're doing stuff wrong, they have shown that they're playing to win. They're playing chess and we're playing checkers. And unfortunately, it's impossible to get our people to wake up because we're so used to not doing anything, to the point that we continue to make excuses for why we don't do anything because we're okay with it. We are okay with it. After all of this time, we still haven't understood that the strategy is that we have to put pressure on these leaders. That has always been the strategy, and yet no one has a desire to figure out what that looks like.
1985 said he's about to join. So for Miss Spencer, I got you. I don't know what the Spencer is, so you have to let me know. But what up, baby Rock? What up, babe Trey? And I have an update on the Trey Reed thing too, because we talked about that too the other day. Because I know FA was saying we hadn't heard from the family. The family has spoken out and has hired Ben Crump as the lawyer. But I'll do the update in a second. Mama said when I was in DC, there was way more white people protesting Trump. What up, Ski? All right, so for my new folks that just hopped on here, we've been dabbling a little bit of everything, but we basically been talking about today, is freedom of speech dead? Is it a done deal? You know, with Jimmy Kimmel, ABC taking his show off the air indefinitely over, I say, I'm trying to figure out what was in that skit that was so offensive. But I feel like it's what Jasmine Crockett said, you know, they what up, DJ Do It? They done pissed MAGA off. So, even Ben Stiller said this isn't right. Plies, I love me some Plies. He said they made Jimmy Kimmel words more offensive than the guy who went around being controversial. Hold on. This must be the Finsta. This is the same thing they did to Colin. They made his protest about what they wanted it to be about. They mastered being the victim and villainized everyone else. What up, sir? How are you?
The Finster was good.
The fence is fencing. Okay, then. It's being monitored for quality assurance, right?
Yo, freedom of speech is why I had to get a Finster because program director following me. I'm like, yo, I don't want them to seeing nothing I'm talking about because I
All
can
right,
get fired too, just like how all these people getting fired.
easy. All right, so let me go back. So, from a new folks, we're talking about freedom of speech, but we've been dabbling because you guys kind of got into the politics and political thing, and you don't feel, I have a feeling you're going to say you don't feel like voting tampering was an issue, but I'll let you speak for yourself, 1985. But yes, we've been talking about what up, Tizzle? Freedom of speech. Is it a done deal? Is it a thing of the past? With, you know, ABC pulling Jimmy Kimmel show. All right, 1985, what you got to say?
Nah, so well, first the Jimmy Kimmel thing is wild because I've been seeing that headline all day, but I didn't hear like what he said. I just been seeing Jimmy Kimmel's fire. So when you played it, I'm expecting to hear him say something crazy like, you know, Charlie Kirk was whack or just something crazy. But that him getting fired over that is wild. I can't believe that. That's crazy. As
Tizzle said,
far as you said what?
Tech said it's done. Yeah, it's done. But go ahead. Finish your,
Yeah.
yeah.
But nah, as far as the voter tampering thing, I think I think elections. Okay, I think elections is a streaming game, like in music. You know how Drake is?
Wait,
They got
wait.
that whole
Phone,
lawsuit about
your, phone,
the bots and all that.
your phone was breaking in and out.
Oh wait, hold. Let me get back in the crib. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're kind of blurry, but
Okay.
I can hear you. So you said voting is like streaming?
Yeah, I think elections play out a lot like the streaming game, right? So you know how there's the Drake lawsuit with UMG right now where he's claiming that there was like bots or whatever that was
Oh yeah, that.
blowing up the property. And I think the crazy thing about that lawsuit is like he he's benefited from the bots too. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake has dropped records that damn sure were not number one records that they botted them to number one, and then literally the Billboard chart come out the next week and the song drops all the way down to like 48th. You know what I'm saying? Like so I think I think elections are a lot like that too. I think both sides are getting assistance with votes. You know what I'm saying? I think all sides are like playing those angles. Now, as far as like who actually wins, it for this election, I'm gonna say this. I think that for one, I think that Kamala, she wasn't the person the people chose. Like the people didn't get a chance to choose. They had a person put in front of them, and then it was almost like this person because you hate this other person so much versus what she's actually doing. I remember throughout her whole entire vice presidency, it was almost a joke. Like, what does Kamala do? Like, what does she say? Why is she so? And then when they put her as the candidate, it was almost like, forget all of that. This is a strong black woman. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. She won't do interviews. She won't go on put it this way, I'll say this. One thing I do respect about conservatives is that they believe in their point so much that they'll go to all of the other opposing platforms and argue it. A lot of Dems and progressives, they can only exist in the echo chamber. They won't go to these other platforms because a lot of those points you can't argue logically. You can't argue trans rights logically. You can't. You can argue it when you're in an echo chamber around a bunch of other people that affirm it, but you can't go sit in front of these professors and these think tanks and argue trans ideologies. You can't. So I think what happened was even the Charlie Kirk dude who died, right? he you when I started looking up more about him after he got killed, he was on every platform. He wasn't just on conservative platforms. He believed in his point so much that he was like, I'll go on Bill Maher, I'll go to this person, I'll go to that person, I'll go to this guy's podcast. He went on Gavin Newsom's. Gavin Newsom, probably the bluest dim in the world, in the country. He went and sat with Gavin Newsom. So I think what happened when the election came was that I think both sides tampered, but I think the country kind of spoke and said, we're gonna go this way again. I think that's just what happened. I think we kind of overblew Kamala, and it's no diss to Kamala, but like, man, Kamala, I would have rather Josh Shapiro had ran, or you know, even what was his name? Well, they wasn't gonna throw Pete Buttigieg out there, but there was other candidates that should have been pushed to the forefront. So I think that it was tampering on both sides, but I think even if you eliminated the tampering, I think old boy was gonna win this time around. Now, I don't think Trump could have beaten a stronger candidate, but I think he did beat Kamala. But I
Okay.
don't think he would. I don't think he would have. Of course, he wouldn't have beat Obama if Obama could run again. He wouldn't. I don't even think he would have beat Josh Shapiro. I think Gavin Newsom would have even gave him a run for his money. I think it was just the candidate that they put at the forefront. It kind of lost them the election. I think it was their election to win. So yeah.
Man.
I'm just keeping it 100, man. Like
So
I
I feel like a lot of people were scared to keep it 100, especially during that time. A lot of people were scared to keep it 100 because they were scared to be called sexist. They were scared to lose their black card. They were scared to be ostracized because people was losing friendships and everything over that election. So I think a lot of people were scared to keep it 100 because of that. But I think the truth is, I think we all knew that. I don't think Trump would have beat a stronger candidate. I just think he beat her.
All right, let's let Rashad weigh in.
Um, the fact that, you know, you openly say, hey, there's tampering on both sides. There has never been any evidence that Democrats are tampering with votes. Never. And the right has been pushing that for a long time. And they've thrown that narrative out so frequently because, as I advised previously, they are the masters of the message. They're the masters of the message. So they've thrown it out there so frequently that people just take that into consideration. But besides that, in talking about Kamala as well, everybody's talking about how she was a weak candidate and everything. The reason why her candidacy was so weak was because there were so many lies that were thrown out about her that the masses just believed, to the point where nobody really knew who she was because there was so much false information out there about her. Now, I will say that they didn't take an offensive position. They should have addressed all of that head on, and they should have started debunking that stuff much earlier. Now, when people are talking about she wasn't the candidate that we chose, she was the vice president. We chose her to take over if Joe Biden was unable to fulfill his duties. So, yes, we did choose her. That is the role of the vice president.
How did she get chose to be vice president?
She was okay. The candidate that we chose for president picked her to be vice president.
Why did
So
he
if
pick
we
her?
choose him, regardless of that,
Why did he
if
pick
we
her
choose him,
amongst way more qualified candidates? Why did he pick her? He said it. I just want you to say you know what he said
he picked her because of
because she
she
was a
was going to
black
get more of
woman.
the black vote. Yeah, she was going to get more of the black vote. Fair enough. But here's the deal, right? She was by his side when America chose him. If America did not want her, they would not have chosen him. And so America chose her because she was by his side when they chose him. You can speak
America
semantics
chose
all you want.
against Trump. They didn't choose that.
Dude,
They chose against.
here's
They
the deal.
voted
Here's the
more
deal.
against
Here's the
Trump
deal.
than they
Here's the deal.
voted for him.
Here's the deal. Those are the same things because they're intertwined. If you vote against Trump, you vote for Biden. So regardless of how you're trying to, piece all of that together, they voted for her. Secondly, now, and this is where I got caught up, right? When I was always talking about where's Kamala, where's Kamala. You don't see her, you don't see her. Where's Kamala, where's Kamala? And then I had to think about it. You never see the vice president. You never see what the vice president is out there doing. Their job is to maneuver behind the scenes on certain agendas. They'll come up periodically because you got to think about it. With Joe, the only thing you ever saw Joe Biden do when President Obama was the president, you saw him go and negotiate with Congress when they needed bipartisan deals. That was the only thing you saw from Joe Biden, and that was like in maybe year 4 or the very end of year 3. And so we always put all of these extra requirements and everything on these black women. And that's just the bottom line. I don't need no amen
No.
section. I don't need no amen section.
Uh,
I don't need no amen section. Let
uh,
just just
um,
just let me have a conversation with the dude. Now go ahead and try to bring it back. We can talk about this for a second. Go ahead. Didi, put your phone on mute. Because
no,
that ain't
yo,
what I'm here
see
for.
that, and that's another thing.
All right.
That's the issue right there is identity politics. When you start bringing in identity, when you start to say we require more out of this black woman than we have out of somebody else. No, it was just she was just required to do what the men were doing, which
No, not true. Not
is
true.
what was advocated for
It's not
through
true.
equality. I'll give you an example, right? What conservative platforms during the election did Kamala go to and argue her points? Off
So
the cuff.
you're missing
Zero.
no.